Hi, welcome to another episode of The Pipeline. I'm very excited today because I have the Audrey Ross Team, MiamiRealEstate.com, visit us today. Featuring the Real Deal as the top brokerage team in 2022, selling over $200 million in the past year alone. I'd like to welcome you all. Hi, Cristina. Hi, Jeanie. Sebastian. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
I always, for the viewers, I always like to ask, well, how do you join real estate? What made you come into the real estate industry, and what is your current story? Maybe you can tell us all a little bit about that.
Sure.
Sebastian.
So, I actually, I'm arguably fourth generation in my family. It dates back to my great grandfather. I didn't go into real estate right away. I was in the hotel business. And I just, naturally progressed in that direction. Building, construction, sales has always been a passion of mine. And I decided that, at the end of the day, this is something that adds purpose to my life. I'm able to help, especially coming from an immigrant family, immigrating here to the U.S. many years ago. I'm able to help many families achieve the goal of homeownership, which is one of the pillars of the American dream. So I started back in 2013, working for a national developer, and went to graduate school, got a really good understanding of brokerage, and transitioned into Compass and the Audrey Ross Team last year.
How's it been?
It's been great. There is a wealth of resources on this team, being 15 agents. It really is amazing. Everyone has a different point of view. They bring a different kind of experience and outlook on things. So it really is a great environment.
I've seen the Audrey Ross Team is big on collaboration. And Jeanie, what about you? What brought you to real estate and the Audrey Ross Team?
Well, I like to say I went straight to the top in real estate because I've been doing it for about 5.5 years, and I started with the Audrey Ross Team. So my background is more in business and technology, and I've been in some entrepreneurial ventures. And then my husband and I had also, owned and sold property in Miami Beach for many years, and it was just a natural thing for me. I got my license, connected with Audrey, and the rest is history. It's been about 5.5 years.
Smooth sailing then. What about you, Cristina?
Well, I'm just like Jeanie. So I started in real estate just in 2018. But I've always been in marketing and international business and advertising and sales. I've lived in Europe and the United States, so I have a very multicultural background. But I started with Audrey Ross Team, and I think it's the best of the best training. There's nothing better out there. And from day one, I just felt so fortunate to be in this industry, to be in this team. And, no day goes by that's not exciting and thrilling. And I've always loved Miami. I fell in love with it when I came here as an exchange student, and I'm so happy to be able to sell the city. It's really a dream come true.
Fortunate us of living in such an amazing city, and the Audrey Ross Team on MiamiRealEstate.com has been a powerful house in the real estate industry, in the luxury markets, in the South Florida market for the past 35 years. Now, how does agents like yourselves handle to this market? How do you handle this 2023? How do you see the market? And I know that each of you has a different area, different community. So I would like to hear a little bit more about your real estate markets individually, and what's your experience generating new buyers and sellers right now.
Sure. So the last, ever since COVID, last, 2.5, 3 years, it's been quite a roller coaster, to say the least.
That was a lot, right?
Yeah, it seemed like, when the market took off, you wouldn't even have to put a sign in the front yard and the property was already sold. I mean, you would get, 10, 15 offers. It seemed like no price was, too much. It was something else, I talked to people that have been in this business, 30, 40 years, like Audrey, no one had ever really seen anything like that, that craziness, right? So, I think whenever there's a shift in the market, you really have to go back to the basics. and you really have to go back to, okay, what's selling, price per square foot, you really have to go back to that, spending money in marketing, the money that we saved over the last few years, it's, that really, and position yourself well, the reality of it is, when the market shifts, a lot of agents will get out of the business. So it's an opportunity, for our team to spend a little bit more money on marketing and capture more market share. I live in the High Pines area, right outside of, in between South Miami and Coral Gables. I've been there 7 years. I grew up about 1.5 miles away in South Gables. Actually, fun fact, Audrey sold my parents' home in 1993. So I've known Audrey a very, very long time, and, couldn't imagine working for anyone else other than her.
What can you tell us about that particular area? What do you see is the forecast for the next year? How do you see the real estate moving in that community?
So High Pines is an area that's really seen a lot of redevelopment. There were a lot of older homes that have been knocked down and have since been rebuilt. So I see, price per square foot definitely going up. Prices continuing to appreciate as demand continues.
Who will be the perfect buyer for that area?
I'd say, a young family, right, exactly. It's an area where a lot of families have, dogs, they have young kids. I see it. It's one of the things that attracted me to that area to live there is, I saw presence, of, people walking around with strollers with, small children, their dogs. And it's very much a tight-knit community.
And proximity to a center like South Miami, so you can
correct
walk.
Very central.
100%.
Exactly.
I believe it's part of the culture routine that you live where you work, and the Audrey Ross Team has a big culture behind it. And I think that one of the main factors that you were mentioning is you have to spend money to make money in what works, right? And maybe Jeanie, what are some of the tools that the team uses to generate new buyers and sellers in the market? How do you see your community behaving in 2023?
Good question. I covered Miami Beach. I have lived and worked in Miami Beach for a long time. I've lived there for over 30 years, and I know it well. Like Sebastian was saying, this is a time to double down on your spending. This is the time to really get out in your community, to keep up with your mailers. I personally try and do it every 6 weeks or so to get out to my, my community. And in Miami Beach, of course, we're all about a location. I mean, it's location in Miami Beach. And people all over the world are just drawn to Miami Beach for the beaches, for the restaurants, for the hotels, the spas, you name it. So it's a very diverse community. And sort of a little known fact is there's a very strong sort of local year-round community that exists that's very strong. We care about the parks, we care about the water quality, we care about the schools. So that's, that's my piece of Miami Beach. So I can really talk about it. But your question was really about how we get new clients. So I get clients from, my neighborhood, from my, friends and relatives, but also from our website. We have a killer website.
So we are very inclined into the digital, and we like to always say that, over 90% of real estate transactions nowadays starts by browsing on a mobile or a desktop device. So if you're a real estate agent and you're not putting yourself out there to engage with new prospects that are looking at your market, then, you're missing out on an opportunity.
Yeah, totally agree.
How has that worked out for you?
Oh, it's great. I mean, to start with, our website name is miamirealestate.com. So everybody's savvy enough now to know that organically, when people from all over the world look for real estate in Miami, they type miamirealestate.com, and we get a lot of that traffic, of course, with additional ads and keywords and all that. But once they get there, we try and capture them.
100%. And I think that one of the things that Audrey Ross does and the team does amazingly is understanding the long-term and the long-term goals of a real estate business, right? And I think that's why she's She understands the need of having a combination of Google Ads plus SEO to help her website rank organically through the years as a resource for the community and everybody looking. So thank you so much for that. What about you, Cristina?
What about me?
How do you see your community behaving right now? What community are you currently working in, and what is your experience with attracting new buyers and sellers? How do you generate new traffic in today's market?
Well, so my farm is Pinecrest. So Pinecrest, but also going south to Homestead and the Keys. I go all the way down. I love that area. I love the ocean. So, but Pinecrest in particular, it's a suburban neighborhood. It's very upscale. You have big homes on large acre lots, and your typical client is a family, big family. There's great private and public schools around. And there's a lot of redevelopment, just like in High Pines. There were older homes that are being redeveloped. Now you see much bigger homes. So the lots are getting, the greenery is getting smaller and the homes are getting bigger. But it's a great community. There's the Pinecrest Community Center where people get together. There's a farmers market on the weekends. And it's always a very active market. And prices have almost doubled since the pandemic. And, everybody wants to have the big, lots. So
Looking for space.
looking for space. Exactly.
That's very good to know. As an interviewer now, I would like to know, what is the experience that a client expects once they get to meet the Audrey Ross Team, right? What are some of the things that they can expect when they interact with such a powerful brand as yours? What are some of the things?
So I have an example that obviously, like Jeanie said, MiamiRealEstate.com is the greatest website you could have in Miami, the URL. And, I got a lead. It was an international buyer, and I knew they were serious because they requested specific information on properties. So what you have to do in that case is immediately reach out, which is what I did. And I reached out, then we had a buyer consultation. I understood what they were looking for, and I immediately followed up with a collection of properties. Scheduled another meeting a week later to discuss it, fine-tune it, and then I knew that they were coming for the Grand Prix, so set up a tour of properties, and they only had 4 days, and they said, we want to have a property. We want to buy a property.
How long it took since they came to the website until you showed them properties?
2 months.
2 months?
Yeah, about 2 months.
And 4 days of showings?
3 days of showings.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
so we started, they wanted waterfront properties, but they wanted single-family homes. So we started in Coral Gables. They really thought they wanted single-family home in Coral Gables on the water. But immediately as we started touring, I realized that we needed to pivot because they said, where is the open water? So Coral Gables is there's lots of canals, but there wasn't really any open water because there were no properties available that are on directly in Biscayne Bay. So I told them, let's go to the beach. Started to look at single-family homes on the beach. They immediately loved the water. But then we started talking about maybe a luxury condo, since it's not their primary residence. Let's go and explore some of those. And they were very open to it, and we did. We looked at Arte, we looked at Sandy, great condos. And then the last one was Aquilina. And I have to say that everybody was just blown away. I mean, the hospitality of Aquilina, it's unparalleled.
it's a project on
Sunny Isles,
Sunny Isles, Florida.
Yeah, Sunny Isles. And it's not yet quite finished. We're still waiting for the TCO, the temporary certificate of occupancy. But the project is incredible.
I'm just curious, what was the price point of that transaction?
It was 11.5 million.
11.5 million from an internet lead.
Yes.
And even though we want everybody to know about that, we also believe that it's really important to do what you just did, which is, again, pay attention to the needs of your client and understand that they may not be qualified to live in Pinecrest if that wasn't their preferred market, and we're able to find in something of their need.
Yeah, you have to really listen to them, and especially clients like that you don't really know. It's a lot of asking questions and, trying to listen to what it is that they're really looking for. They're not as familiar with Miami. So, you have to show them around.
Helping them understand their needs.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for sharing that story. Jeanie, I believe you also have experience on several transactions from each
Yes,
of the leads.
actually I do. It's not the same dollar volume. It's a scene, but
Well, but
from my
tell us a story.
Oh, this is a great story. This is one that a couple who connected with me through our website over 2 years ago. We communicate back and forth only for about a month or 6 weeks. I picked out a few ideas for them. They came to town. I showed them 4 properties. They picked one. They bought it. It was a $350,000 condo in Miami Beach. Great. They immediately wanted to rent it. So we actually bought it with a renter. As soon as that tenant left, got them another renter. And so now I've actually had 3 rental transactions from this one purchase. And they're now looking for another home for themselves to move down. So that's an example of they found me on the website, reconnected personally, and now they've really become client and friends.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for that, for sharing both of those stories. I have a question for what's coming. What's the forecast for 2023 in MiamiRealEstate.com? What are things that are coming? If there's anything that you would like to let everybody know, what would that be?
Wow. That's a very loaded answer.
We hate the personal use.
No, that's fine.
You got that.
I laughed because I have this conversation almost daily. Especially whenever there's quote unquote turbulence or as the news is very doom and gloom. Unfortunately, people crave negativity. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And I always tell people, look, shut off the news. It's one of those things like you don't watch news, you're uninformed. You watch too much news, you're misinformed. So it's like, at some point, because you're getting fed all this negativity, like you really just kind of have to get away from that. And you really have to look at, what's reality, right? Where are we right now? Right. And I really think, when we were having, like Cristina was saying, some of these homes doubled in value, we were having price appreciations of 25%, 30% year over year. It's not sustainable. When you put into context and say price appreciation normally is anywhere between 3 to 5% a year, we had to go back to somewhat of a stable market, right? Coupled with the fact that, we were experiencing very high inflation we hadn't seen in 3-4 decades, so the only way you could really curb that inflation is by raising rates, which kind of slowed down the market a bit, so I think, Miami, is very, I would say it's the closest city to the United States, because we're a very global economy at the end of the day, right? So, we still have people coming from all around the world for different reasons, be it political, be it tax, be it, weather, whatever it is. Miami's still very much in demand. So people will keep coming. I really think, prices will just appreciate at a slower pace, but, we are poised to have a very strong 2023.
Yeah. And to add to that, real estate is hyper local. And if you listen to the news, to the national news, it almost does not apply because I think we as a team are extremely busy. We are signing listing agreements. We're signing purchase contracts. Especially this January has been extremely busy. So the news are also always delayed. We see it firsthand what the market does, but
You're hearing about the corrections later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's been a very active month. We are very fortunate, but, we're really attacking the market from all the angles. And, we door knock, we social media, digital marketing, we do it all. And luckily also the dollar has depreciated. So the international buyers back because they've been on hold for a bit. Dollar was too strong, but they're back now. So, I see 2023 as a best year yet.
And to that point, when you talk about, how we've been really busy as a team, I think, in a shifting market, as things evolve. That's one of the advantages that the Audrey Ross team has, is it with, compared to, many other brokerages or teams out there, is, that experience that we bring to the table. We've seen so many different types of markets, is that we're able to guide our clients successfully through every single real estate transaction because, of that value proposition that we bring to the table, the experience we have, and one of the things that Audrey really touches on, is the relationship. That we are not in the real estate business, we're in the relationship business. And having those strong relationships, not only with our clients, but also within the brokerage community. Other agents know that when they're going to do a transaction with our team, it's going to get done. And it's going to get done successfully. And within our team as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Collaborate without ego.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I believe that by providing value without ego and by implementing, the things properly, you can achieve amazing results, especially on the real estate. As like you said, the goal is to create that relationship. The goal is to create that brand awareness where your new clients can understand and trust what you do, and you can help them go from the search of the home to the transaction, the realization of that dream. Now, beyond. I love that. And beyond. A lot of our viewers are real estate professionals, and they're agents, they have groups, they're developers, and we have a large audience across the nation. If the next question is for somebody that is starting in the industry as well. If you were a real estate professional starting today, what would you do to grow your real estate business?
Okay, I'll take that one.
Go.
What I would do is focus on training and honestly get on a team. I think that the whole team concept is great. It's really taken off in the last, 3 or 4 years. Audrey was a little ahead of that because she's had a large team for some time, and it really pays off. Like these guys were saying, there's a lot of synergy. You collaborate. You can really share wants and needs. Like one person has a buyer looking for something, somebody else has a seller on the fence. We do a lot of off-market transactions just that way. So that would be my 2 things. Focus on your training, really know your stuff when it comes to technology. Well, 3 things. And secondly, get on a team. And third, know your market. That's really the most important thing, so you can speak well.
And fourth, let the world know what you do. So absolutely very, you have to have a social media presence, in my opinion. That has been very big for me. So it takes time. It takes effort to plan ahead and, work out your marketing strategy. But it will pay off.
If you have a strategy, you have content, you have social media, and you have a well-planned strategy, I'm 100% convinced that you're set to great things.
And speaking of social media, that is something that we as a team are going to really be focusing on this year. I mean, we always do, but we want to do a better job with video. We want to do a better job with keeping good content on our website. Podcast.
Well, the doors are always open. I hope this is the first one of many. You're always invited to come back. I hope we can have a second chance to meet again. I appreciate the time that you've taken to join us today. And again, thank you so much for being part of this podcast and the Audrey Ross team. For those of you who are watching, you can find this amazing team at miamirealestate.com, the Audrey Ross team in Miami, Florida. And again, thank you so much for taking the time of being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Carla, so much. And next time I want that.
This one? Next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.